This is one of those James Bond movies that gets an E for effort. What's up, everybody? So today I'm revisiting Quantum of Solace, the second movie in the Daniel Craig arc as James Bond. And to be honest, I see this movie every time I've seen this movie. There are really parts of it that I enjoy a lot, but the flaws are so obvious that it's kind of hard to completely enjoy it. Now, to start off with, it's directed by Mark Forster, written by God knows who, because it was right during the writer's strike. And so they had a script that was kind of barely done, and they just had to make do because they had no time. They had no opportunity to have somebody come and brush it up and make it as good as Casino Royale, which is another reason why I think it's kind of the low quality of the story hits so hard, because Casino Royale is just such a great movie. To me, it's number three favorite. For me, it's License to Kill, it's GoldenEye, and then it's Casino Royale. Now, the one thing that separates Quantum of Solace from all the other James Bond movies is that it really is a direct sequel to Casino Royale. And it kind of picks up just minutes after Casino Royale ended. And then that car chase in the beginning is really fun and interesting. It's exciting. It really gets your pulse going. The problem is that there's basically three of those scenes in a row. So you have the car chase in the beginning. You find out that Mr. White was in the back trunk. And after he is questioned, somebody gets killed, somebody who is within MI6, and then one of those people is running away. James Bond is now running after this person. So now we have another chase sequence. Maybe 10 minutes after this chase sequence, we have another chase sequence, that has a motorcycle, it's got a boat, so there's just a lot going on, and there's very little room to breathe. Overall, the plot is just so not really James Bondian per se. When you think of a movie like GoldenEye, that really does have a typical James Bond villain. The cool thing but it's cool, and it's also simple in the sense of Sean Bean, who plays the main villain. GoldenEye is basically this device that can take money out of any bank account anywhere around the world. All right, it's pretty simplistic, but even in the movie, it's kind of addressed where James Bond's saying you're just a common thief. In this one, it's kind of like geopolitical and finances going on, where they're stealing water from Bolivia. And I guess they make it grand and big, but in the end, it's like, okay, you're stealing water. Okay, yes, it is an important natural resource, but in the end, it kind of fails to show how that plays in the grander scheme of things. So then there's that as well. And so there are some really good things. Daniel Craig still gives a really good performance in it. You still feel his heartbreak that Vesper Lynd is killed and also betrayed him. You also, even though he kind of tries to play it cool, somebody very close to him in this one gets killed, and he's just relegated to just throwing him in a dumpster, minutes after he dies. But you still kind of feel like, man, I'm just losing it everywhere I go, Some of the things that don't play as well for me is the Bond girl character. I forget her name, Olga Kurylenko, I believe her name is. And I like her motive. It's like, she's going to do whatever she has to do, be involved with and connect with whoever it is that she has to get revenge on the people that killed her family. And so she's not like a typical Bond girl, and where it's like, okay, he's gonna seduce her and he's gonna leave her high and dry, and she's just some disposable female character. She's not that. She plays a really, really important role, but because of the lack of time they had to put in the script, her character isn't fleshed out enough. Although I do think, she plays a really great role in that in this movie. Next is Gemma Ardenton. I forget how to pronounce her last name, but she plays Strawberry Fields. She really is a disposable female character in this. She's a contact that he has when he gets to Bolivia. He seduces her. She ends up dead. And so there are so many just missed moments here that could have been fleshed out or filled in a little bit more had they had another pass at writing the script. So I think the issue with me is maybe it's because I'm a bit of an idealist. I see the potential that this movie has more so than what this movie actually is. So I think to myself, if more time was dedicated to this sequence, they could have managed to fix some of this. This was also heavy into the Bourne era of action movies, so there's a lot of shaky cam, which always gives me a headache. And then there's the whole idea of the reason why they call it Quantum of Solace. It's Quantum is the name that is really supposed to be for Spectre, but they couldn't get the rights to the name of Spectre until way later, so they had to kind of find some other name for this global organization that kind of runs so many things happening in the world. So it just feels like a movie of missed opportunities. Mark Forrester is a great director, and he knows how to handle action. I think he learned from, all the mistakes he made in this one, because he later on went to did World War Z. Before this, I think he did Monsters Ball and Finding Neverland. So he knows character, he knows drama, he knows story. So, but unfortunately, those were exactly the kinds of things that they didn't have time to make as good as it possibly could be with Quantum of Solace. It is what it is. Anyways, those are my thoughts. What about you guys? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Smash that like button, give me a follow, and I'll see you guys next time.